such leaders as Morgan, Mosby, and Darby. Their gallant success in combat is legendary. In World War II, Ranger battalions operated in the Mediterranean and the South Pacific and led the way on to the beaches of Normandy. During the Korean conflict, volunteers were formed into airborne ranger companies. 18 of those units was trained right here at Fort Benning. 6 was committed to combat and continue to uphold the ranger standards of courage and daring. Airborne Ranger companies served in the Republic of Vietnam, from the Delta to the DMZ, providing long-range reconnaissance and surveillance, the eyes and ears of the commandos in the field. Most recently, the 1st and 2nd Ranger Battalion led the way in conducting an airborne assault on the island of Grenada. Currently, there exists the 75th Ranger Regiment, consisting of 3 Ranger Battalions. The regimental headquarters and the 3rd Ranger Battalion are located here at Fort Benning. The 1st Ranger Battalion is at Harnoma Airfield in Savannah, Georgia, and the 2nd Ranger Battalion is at Fort Lewis, Washington. The reactivation of these units has increased the importance of Ranger training because the Ranger course is 58 days in duration and is divided into 4 phases, with each of these phases being conducted in a separate geographical location over terrain that varies from steep and rugged mountain peaks to arid desert and coastal swamps. The Fort Benning phase is 2 weeks in duration, followed by 2 weeks in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Dahlonega, Georgia, 2 weeks in the Florida swamps located at Eglin Air Force Base, and the following 2 weeks in the desert plains located in Dugway, Utah. The purpose of the Ranger course is to develop leadership capabilities of selected officers and non-commissioned officers. Volunteers to be trained on Ranger tactics and techniques so that they, upon successful completion of the course, can return to their units with the capabilities of conducting Ranger-type training, thus increasing the high standards of training in the Army and give all infantry combat units the capabilities of conducting Ranger-type missions. Ranger training is realistic, rugged, and to a degree hazardous. A Ranger student is tasked both physically and mentally during his 8 weeks of training. In summary, we feel that the Ranger course is to the highest state of combat preparedness training that exists in the United States Army today. The 4th Ranger Training Battalion also trains the leaders of the light infantry divisions in the light leaders course, and the leaders of the long-range surveillance units and the long-range surveillance leaders course. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will demonstrate some of the capabilities and characteristics that Rangers are trained to use. First of these being hand-to-hand combat. Your narrator, Staff Sergeant Beecham, a United States Army Ranger.
The average soldier, if trained only in the use of his basic weapon, loses his effectiveness if that weapon fails to fire or if he should lose or break it. But with the knowledge of hand-to-hand combat, the confidence and aggressiveness to fight hand-to-hand, the Ranger is able to attack and defeat his opponent. Now, we teach hand-to-hand combat for several reasons. First, hand-to-hand combat is an excellent physical conditioner and body toughener. Second, it builds the spirit of aggressiveness in the individual soldier and instills the will to fight. Third, it instills confidence in the Ranger's ability and in his fellow Rangers. Fourth, hand-to-hand combat teaches a Ranger a technique of defending himself when unarmed and confronted by an armed opponent. Finally, hand-to-hand combat provides the basis for the Ranger to return to his unit and properly set up training in hand-to-hand combatives. Now, there are several fundamentals in which we stress in our hand-to-hand training. The first of these, use your opponent's momentum to your advantage. Why you? notice that the demonstrator did not try to match his strength against that of an opponent who is obviously superior in size and strength, but merely set him in motion by using his momentum against him. One of the first things the Ranger is taught is a good balanced position. As you can see, this is nothing more than a modified boxer's crouch. The weight is evenly distributed over both feet, and the hands are carried high to protect the face or deliver a sharp, disabling blow. This is commonly referred to as the Ranger's physical balance or on-guard position. Now, you'll recall as the demonstrators move forward, they growl. We encourage this growl because it upsets your opponent's mental balance, immediately placing them on the defensive and giving the Ranger that slight psychological advantage. The final two fundamentals in which we stress in our hand-to-hand training are that are accuracy and speed. With the emphasis on these two fundamentals, the Rangers will develop accuracy. Speed comes only through practice. Rangers are also taught to use every means available, even the elements of surprise, to attack and defeat their opponent in combat. Training the Rangers taught various throws, holds, takedowns, and counters. We'll now demonstrate a few that we teach. First, the right hip throw. We also teach takedowns, such as the crosshawk takedown. And the front leg takedown. You'll notice that the demonstrator ends up in a very vulnerable position. Turn from the defense to the offense, the Rangers are taught a series of counters, such as counter to the over-the-shoulder throw. Now, in the event that the Ranger is confronted with an opponent armed with a knife and he himself is unarmed, we teach Rangers techniques of knife, disarming, and counters. You'll notice that the main objective here was to gain control and possession of the knife. Throughout the Fort Benning base training, the Rangers taught various knife fighting techniques. First, how to hold the knife. The knife fighter stance, the modified stance, and the vulnerable points, that is, where to strike your opponent with the knife. Counter to the upward stroke of the knife. In the event that the Ranger is armed with a knife and he is confronted with an opponent armed with a knife, we teach Rangers offensive knife fighting techniques. Ranger! Fighting close-in combat using the knife is extremely dangerous. The ranger must remain mentally alert at all times and totally aware of his surroundings for such circumstances as multiple attackers. In some circumstances, especially in a combat environment, the ranger may be forced to fight with field-expedient weapons, such as stones, sticks, shovels, and batons. A ranger armed with a baton has a distinct advantage over an individual armed with a knife. In the event that the ranger is confronted with an opponent armed with a field-expedient weapon and himself is armed with a field-expedient weapon, the one who possesses the greater will to survive out on the battlefield will be the ultimate victor. Since the rifle with a bayonet is a weapon that the rangers will most likely encounter out on the battlefield, we teach rangers techniques of bayonet disarming. Counter to the thrust. Paul's ranger operations are conducted deep behind enemy lines. Frequently, the ranger will be confronted with the necessity of silencing an armed sentry. For this reason, we teach rangers silent kill techniques. One technique that the rangers are taught is the Belgium takedown. Today, Sergeant First Class Mullen will demonstrate the use of the Belgium takedown on Sergeant First Class Lane. Another silent kill technique rangers are taught to use is the garrote. At this time, Sergeant First Class Lane will demonstrate the use of the garrote on Sergeant First Class Mullen. Now imagine, if you will, the stealth and cunning one must possess to sneak up on an armed sentry deep behind enemy lines and take him out without being detected.
Are you? What's your problem, Sergeant? Huh? Hey, look, Sergeant, if you can't handle it, I'll find you another job. But it'll be a demonstration. See, this is a guest here. I say we shake hands and talk about it like professional non-commissioned officers and rangers. Down!
Oh, nice kick. Throw him.
Demolition. Through extensive demolitions training, it enables the Rangers to attack and destroy a wide variety of targets. Now, although there are many types of explosives, composition C4 is the one most commonly used. As you can see, it's a white plastic explosive that can be cut and molded into any shape. Due to the pliability of this explosive, it's used for a wide variety of charges. Charges such as the ribbon charge. This charge is used against the big charge.
Damn it. Bad. Oh, bad. What's on, man? Great. Good stuff. Great. Small one. Turn that thing off.
Of detonation. Another capability Rangers are taught is military mountaineering. On fire!
Helen is an integral part of mountaineering instruction given during the Ranger Corps. The technique for sustaining the vertical surface by means of a mechanical device is taught in the Ranger Corps for several reasons. First, it helps the student overcome the inherent fear of height. Secondly, it builds confidence in the individual. It teaches the Ranger an additional capability. He learns again there's virtually no impassable terrain or determined, well-trained, well-led force. C-dip repel is the type of repel most often used by mountaineers. In order to execute the C-dip repel, certain items of mountaineering equipment are essential. First, the nylon climbing rope. This rope is made of 100% nylon, has a tensile strength of 3,840 pounds, and is 120 feet in length. Another characteristic of this rope is its elasticity. That is, it will stretch 1/3 its normal length prior to breaking. Second item is utility rope. This rope is made up of the same characteristics as the nylon climbing rope, except that it's approximately 12 feet in length. Third item is the snap link. It's made of steel and has a spring-loaded gate. The snap link has a tensile strength of 2,000 pounds when the gate is closed. Also, heavy leather work gloves are worn to prevent burning of the hand. To repel, the Ranger faces the climbing rope with anchor point to his left. He then takes up slack, pressing the anchor point to his left and runs the rope down through the snap link. He then takes up slack between the snap link and anchor point, runs the rope under and down through the snap link the second time. And he then dons his heavy leather work gloves. To repel, On repel! Desires to stop during his descent, merely applies a brake. That is, he tightens the grip of his right hand around the rope or supports his weight and controls the rate of descent. His left hand is the balancing or stabilizing agent. To continue, to haul personnel and equipment up the vertical surface. For that purpose, the ranger student is taught the use of the vertical haul line. This consists of a heavy A-frame constructed and lashed together at the top of the cliff with sufficient climbing rope to reach the bottom. The ends of the rope run through a pulley or snap link at the apex of the frame and are tied together, creating what is known as an endless rope. At opposite extremes of this rope are tied two butterfly knots. The ranger engages his snap link to a butterfly knot and climbs the knotted rope, also extended down from the cliff. And he is assisted by men at the bottom who pull on the endless rope. As the ranger ascends, a second butterfly knot moves down, and the second ranger can engage and climb to the top of the cliff. Another type of repel is the Australian repel. On repel! This repel allows the ranger to observe in the direction he is descending. Notice his left hand is his brake hand, thus allowing his right hand freedom to fire his weapon should it become necessary during descent. In the event a soldier is slightly wounded and a litter is not available, a technique of evacuation is taught the ranger students. This method is called the feed-back evacuation. Location is secured to the ranger by means of the utility rope. As the term implies, it drives the feed-back fashion down the face of the cliff. A belay line extends from the station to the top of the cliff. However, the belayer does not control the rate of descent. The belay line is used only to arrest movement in case of any type of emergency. Off repel means the ranger has touched down, has cleared his climbing rope, and that the next man may descend. Experience has taught us that repelling from a fixed object, such as the cliff or this tower, is not the only type of repelling in which a ranger must be proficient. Because a helicopter cannot always land in some types of terrain, repelling may be necessary to insert small units. Repelling from a hovering or fixed platform, such as the cliff or a tower, requires the same basic technique that you've seen demonstrated today. If you'll direct your attention to the far side of the pond. fire support unit. They consist of artillery, a Point Cobra helicopter, 4 tactical air support. Also during the Ranger course, the Ranger will be taught techniques for small boat operations inland waterways and coastlines. The boats utilized are various sizes, such as the M470 Zodiac, which has approach ashore to your left front. This 9-man light infantry squad has been organized and equipped to conduct the reconnaissance mission. Squad leader, Ranger! Is overall responsible for his squad mission accomplishment. He is armed with the M16A2 rifle. Additional equipment includes a set of AMPVS-7, which has been designed for short-range close-in viewing during hours of limited visibility. The team leader, Ranger! Team leaders are overall responsible for their respective teams and also will assist the squad leader throughout the mission. They both are armed with M16A2 rifles. The additional equipment for the team leaders consists of a set of binoculars for the Alpha team leader, an AMPVS-4 Starlight scope for the Bravo team leader. The Starlight scope lets the Bravo team leader be able to see during hours of limited visibility up to a range of 600 meters. The automatic rifleman. These men are both armed with the M249 squad automatic weapon, or SAW. Grenadier. These men are armed with the M203 grenade launcher. They also are wearing the M203 vest, which can house a variety of 40mm rounds. And finally, the 2 riflemen. These men are armed with the M16A2 rifle. One of the riflemen has the additional duty as the squad Rotello. His additional equipment includes the AMPVS-77 tactical FM radio. The other riflemen are carrying the mountaineering equipment that may be utilized during the mission. And finally, as you can see, distributed throughout the squad are such items as claymores, laws, and hand grenades. This 9-man light infantry squad is organized and equipped to conduct the reconnaissance mission.
Rangers weren't never the smartest ones, were they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
On the far side will mount the rope. Utilize the combination of commando and marching crawl to move out close to the black and gold Ranger tab, where he will hang free and request permission to drop some point
Yeah, it is.
into the water.
Sergeant, Ranger Bean requests permission to drop.
Drop, Ranger!
The finished product is an individual capable of being an instructor, trainer, and leader of small units. He has mastered the skills of small unit operations, infiltration, exfiltration techniques, hand-to-hand combat, demolition, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape, and lower altitude mountaineering. He is the epitome of the infantryman, the best. This concludes the Rangers in action demonstration. Rangers lead the way, sir.
For the benefit of those of you that are part of the official party, we have visiting us today from Benningen from last week.
Hi, I'm
General
Jen Smith.
Nelson Mejia was just inducted today into the Scarson Hall of Fame. He is the Chief of Staff of the Colombian Army, and his son went through the ranks of force here in March of 1980.